Hello everyone, Charles Watts here, the Arsenal correspondent at Goal, joining you on Thursday. I hope all is well and you are having a good day, and why shouldn't you after that game last night, which we will talk about in depth during this video. First of all, though, got to start with one of those start of video apologies that I seem to make all the time. But yeah, first of all, this is late and I wanted to get this done earlier on in the morning so you have more time to watch it. But I had quite a bit of work to do from last night's game. Also, I'm feeling pretty terrible at the moment, so apologies for a croaky voice or anything. But yeah, throat is killing me, knackered after getting in late last night. Horrible sore throats, couldn't get to sleep, spent all night sitting on the sofa, coughing and spluttering. But anyway, enough about that. You don't want to hear about that, do you? You want to hear about the fantastic victory for Arsenal last night, one that moved them 5 points clear at the top of the table, one that made it 3 wins in a row in the Premier League, and one that certainly gave them saw them take a pretty firm grasp on the title race with 13 matches to go. Really good night in the end. Weird game for 40 minutes. There was nothing in it. It was pretty horrible to watch the first 40 minutes. Arsenal were pretty slow, laboured. They came up against an Everton team that just put everyone behind the ball, as I think we all expected was going to happen. And it was just a pretty poor spectacle as a result. But that man, Bukayo Saka, once again turning things on its head, standing up just when he's needed, scoring a brilliant goal on 40 minutes that broke Everton's resistance, and from that point forward it was plain sailing for Arsenal. The second half was brilliant to watch, champagne stuff at times. Emirates crowd loving it, Olays ringing out as, you know, sort of 25-30 pass movements were going on. It was just a really enjoyable second half to watch. So many top performances there. 4 goals, clean sheet, 3 points. You just can't ask for much more than that, can you? Everyone went home very, very happy indeed. Lots of good performances out there. Saka, as I said, I thought was brilliant. Martinelli, 2 more goals for him. Now Arsenal's top scorer this season with 11 in the Premier League. Thought Zinchenko was absolutely brilliant as well. It was his pass that finally sort of unlocked the Everton rearguard action, set up the goal for Saka, and from that point onward, Arsenal were great. In the second half, Thomas Partey, what a 45-minute performance that was when he came on at half-time. Just absolutely ran the show, and Everton just could not get near him. He was so good, Thomas Partey. And it was just a great day in the end. I mean, Saka and Martinelli now both in 10 goals, both in double digits for the season in the Premier League. Saka with 10. Martinelli with 11. Saka also got 9 assists now. So he's on 19 goal involvements in the Premier League. I think only Haaland and Kane have got more. But really good to see Martinelli and Saka in double figures. I think that they're Arsenal are now the only team in the Premier League that have got 2 players who have scored 10 goals or more in the league this season. I think that says an awful lot for the work that's being done with those players. The improvement that Martinelli's made in terms of being a goal threat, 11 goals for the season now, top scorer. It's great. I saw Sam Dean at the Telegraph wrote a really good piece today. You should go and have a look at it. He tweeted it out this morning, talking about kind of the comparisons of what Arteta did or was credited with doing with the likes of Sterling and Sane at Manchester City, and how he turned them into sort of, goal scoring wingers, and he's doing the same with these two. And he spoke afterwards in a press conference about Martinelli and Saka hitting double figures. He said it's a credit to them because in the end they have to do it themselves. We try to help them with the way of playing and trying to get them in those positions as much as possible, but they are so willing to learn. They are asking for more and more every single day, and they never have enough information. They just want more. They want the space. They want to practice. And at the end, when you have that and you have the talent and you have the ideas that they have, then good things will happen. And certainly good things are happening right now for them and for Arsenal. I thought what was really good last night, in a way, was the patience that Arsenal showed. And there was no real panic from them, which I thought was really apparent in that first half, because it was a pretty boring first half. I think when Saka scored, Arsenal hadn't really had a shot on target. Well, they hadn't had a shot on target. It'd just been a nothing half. But I remember tweeting it after about sort of 25 minutes yesterday. You could just see, every time they got the ball, you could see exactly what Everton were doing, how congested it was, how many players were backing around the penalty area. And I remember tweeting that this is going to be about patience for Arsenal. They're just going to have to keep going, keep believing in themselves, trying to create that chance. And if it does, then they should go on and win this game. And it's kind of exactly what happened, because when they did stay patient, there was no real panic stations. You never felt that, mainly because Everton were rubbish. I think they didn't really offer any sort of threat. So as much as Arsenal had the ball, you never. Sometimes when you watch teams, you think, yeah, you're a threat on the counter attack. You never got that feeling with Everton. Maybe that played into Arsenal's hands a little bit because they didn't have to be fearful really of if they did lose possession and the ball was turned over. They didn't really have to be too fearful of what Everton might do to them on the counter attack. But they did stay patient. They deserve real credit for that, and that's what they're going to have to show between now and the end of the season. If they're going to go on and win this title, they're going to come up against teams like this, a lot now, and they're going to have to deal with that low block. They're going to have to deal with maybe fans sort of trying to push them on, to urge them on to play the ball quicker, but it's going to be all about patience and keeping your nerve, and I thought Arsenal did that last night. And once they got their rewards in that second half, because once they scored those 2 goals just before half time, it opened things up. Everton couldn't do in the second half what they'd been doing in the first half, and Arsenal just put them to the sword. I thought the ruthlessness they showed in that second half was fantastic. Now they could have had more brilliant football to watch at times, reminiscent of the proper sort of Wenger ball era at the Emirates. It was just it was really fun watch, and enjoyable, and so many good performances. Like I said, I thought Saka at the heart of it again. He's just such a good player. I saw a great stat today on Arsenal.com. Actually, I was just reading it before I came on and did this video, that of his 10 Premier League goals this season, all 10 have either been equalisers or goals to put Arsenal in front. So that is clutch. That really is clutch for such a young player as well. That is standing up when he needs to stand up and doing it for his team. Not when they're 3-0 up or 4-0 up at the end of games. He's doing it exactly when's needed, when they're either trailing or to get him in front. For a 21-year-old kid, it's absolutely exceptional what he's doing. Arsenal's so not lucky to have him because they've produced him, and Arsenal are a massive club. So he's lucky to be at Arsenal as well. But just the fact that Saka's here and he's going to be here for longer when this contract gets signed and announced is just fantastic news. And having said that, I spoke to Aaron Ramsdale yesterday after the game. We're in the mix zone, me and a few other reporters, and we spoke to Ramsdale about various things. And I spoke to him about Saka and his contract. And I was like, you guys been kind of joking behind the scenes with him, telling him to sign while these talks have been going on? And he said, no joking. I think if he had 1 week left, I wouldn't be worried about him being here. If he had until the end of this season, I would still expect to see him here on the first day of pre-season. I'm fairly relaxed with Bukayo. Let him just crack on with his team and the club and sort it out, and then we'll move forward. It is obviously not affecting him. That is why he is not rushing into anything. And when it does settle, we know we're going to have him here longer than we do at the minute. I then said, how big of a boost is this going to be for the club, especially at this stage of the season in the middle of a title race? How big of a boost will it be? He said it will be a boost to the club, but as I said, he's still got 18 months left of his contract, so I think it will be more of a boost for him, knowing that the club have a lot of faith in him. Bukayo is an Arsenal player and will be for a long time. And he's right, absolutely he's right. As I said, as I've reported in previous videos and on Goal in the last sort of week, so a deal has now been agreed with Saka. In principle, it's not signed yet, but the expectation is that is going to be signed very, very soon, and then the announcement will follow, and we can all rest easy knowing that the talent that is Bukayo Saka, just like the talent that is Gabriel Martinelli, is going to be at Arsenal for a long time to come. Elsewhere yesterday, Eddie Nketiah limped off at the end of the game. I don't know if you saw it or not. He came on. I thought it was a really good cameo from Eddie. Actually set up the 4th goal. Obviously with some really good play. Unlucky not to score himself on one occasion when Pickford came out and sort of smothered his shot. But I thought it was a really good cameo from Eddie. He looked bright and deserves a lot of credit for his part in Martinelli's 2nd goal. But he went down as soon as the full-time whistle went. I watched him and he sort of fell onto the ground, and then he got up and he limped off. He went down the tunnel straight away with one of the fitness coaches at Arsenal. He has been suffering with an issue for a while now, Eddie, which is kind of why he was rested at the weekend against Leicester. I mean, his form hasn't been great, but I think a lot of that is down to his injury as well. He's been struggling with something. Arsenal have been managing it. Mikel afterwards said, look, hopefully he's fine. He ended the game really well, but he's been carrying a little thing, and he'll be assessed today ahead of the game at the weekend against Bournemouth. But the good thing for Arsenal is, even if Eddie doesn't make it, if he has picked up a problem, then Arsenal have the options now in attack. Trossard yesterday, I thought he was so good. Trossard, brilliant for the 3rd goal. Just a constant outlet all night. Just moved it across the final third. On the left, on the right, in the central areas. His touch is good. His pace is good. His ability in and around the penalty area to find space. It's just such a brilliant piece of transfer business. I said it at the time. It just looked like such a clever buy and that's exactly how it's proved. And he's made such a big impact in such a short time already. Another assist yesterday, just like he got the assist against Leicester at the weekend. So even if Eddie isn't fit and available, then you've got options. You can play Trossard there, you can play Martinelli there. And now you've got Smith Rowe came back yesterday. You've got the biggest cheer of the night, which was really good to see Smith Rowe coming back and getting some minutes last night. So there's lots of options for Mikel in attack, which is a good thing. So even if Eddie does need to have a little bit of a rest now and doesn't make it for the weekend, then he's got that option. It also looks like we'll have to wait and see what happens with Jorginho, who really struggled in the first half yesterday. He was replaced at half-time by Mikel Arteta. You could see something was up with Jorginho. Yesterday it was really, really obvious, and you could see how frustrated he was getting in himself. He lost the ball a couple of times, his passing was poor. He just didn't look right, and Mikel said afterwards that he's been ill and hasn't been feeling well at all, and that's why he kind of took him off at half time, and you could tell there was something just not quite right with him, because a player like Jorginho, even when he's not playing well, Jorginho is a very good passer. He doesn't lose possession very often, but he was clearly off his game a little bit yesterday. So we'll wait and see if he's fit enough to feature at the weekend. But I think, Thomas Partey, what a second half performance that was from Partey. He absolutely ran the show. And so, yeah, even if Jorginho isn't fit, I think Partey will be playing at the weekend. Then you sort of bring Jorginho back into the side for next Thursday in the Europa League. Player ratings, I didn't get to do it last night at the game because there was so much going on after the final whistle. Tough one to pick in terms of man of the match. I'll get to that at the end, but I've given Ramsdale 7. Brilliant save at the end from Ramsdale to keep the score. It was 4-0. Some keepers, it was like last couple of minutes, I think it was as well. Some people will be kind of resting on their laurels, they'll be thinking about going home, what they're going to have to eat after the game. But he was bang on it, made a really good save in that last minute to keep his clean sheet. 11 clean sheets for the season now. Puts him, I think, top in the race for the Golden Glove in terms of how many clean sheets in a season for a goalkeeper in the Premier League. Really good. I thought he swept up really well as well. So Ramsdale gets 7, White 7, Saliba 7, Gabriel 8. I thought Gabriel was really good again. One brilliant tackle in the first half in a very rare occasion that Everton broke away with a bit of pace and looked threatening. Brilliant from Gabriel. He gets an 8. Zinchenko gets an 8. Zinchenko was so good last night. What a player he is. Brilliant pass to set up Saka's goal. He played a big role in the fourth goal as well with his ball to Eddie Nketiah in that one. He's just such a clever player. Picks up positions that teams hate, and just brilliant transfer business again from Arsenal. That so he gets an 8. Jorginho I gave a 5. Xhaka and Odegaard I gave a 7. I thought Odegaard came into the game a lot more once Partey was on the pitch. Obviously scored another goal, which is great to see, and made a couple of nice touches, so I gave Odegaard 7. Saka 8, Trossard 7, Martinelli 8. Now Martinelli probably should get man of the match because he scored twice, but I'm going to give it to Bukayo Saka. I thought Saka was great again. I thought he stepped up at the very crucial moment to get Arsenal in front just before half-time, which was massive. And then his hunger and determination then won the ball to tee up Martinelli for the second goal just before half-time as well. And just such a good player, so important to Arsenal. What he's doing deserves so much credit at just 21 years old. Just what a player. If he can stay fit, then, Arsenal can go on and achieve exactly what they want this season. So fingers crossed for that. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Do appreciate it. As always, anything you've agreed with, disagreed with, anything you want to share opinion-wise on Arsenal, then just get into those comments below. Until then, Mikel Arteta's press conference is tomorrow at London Colney, 1:30 p.m. in the afternoon, so keep your eyes peeled for that. I will be there, providing my throat allows me to. And again, apologies for the croakiness during this video, but struggled my way through. Have a great day, everyone. I'll speak to you soon.